Seeing Allah. This issue is called by the people of the truth the ru'yah, sighting or seeing God. At-Tahawi said, وَالرُّؤْيَةُ حَقٌّ لِأَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ. The sighting is true for the people of paradise, yani for the people of the garden. Abu Hanifa called it the liqa. So two names for this case, al-ru'ya and al-liqa. Abu al-Muzaffar says that here liqa refers to seeing, since the meeting of selves and contact between Allah and the slaves is impossible. Yani what might come to your mind from the word liqa is meeting. So what's this liqa? It's just seeing only, not attendance. The Shaykh says in the big explanation of At-Tahawi, this chapter is dedicated to confirming seeing Allah in the afterlife, that the believers exclusively will see Him. This is a reality that must be believed. They will see with their absar, with their eyes vision, without any distance between them and Allah. This is so because whomever there is a distance between you and him is limited. Anyone whom there is a distance between you and him, then that one is limited. And you're already limited. The other one, he's limited too if there's a distance between the two of you. He would either be bigger in volume than you, or smaller, or similar, having the same size as you. This other one, that there's a distance between you and him. All of that is not valid for Allah. For this reason, Ahlus Sunnah confirm seeing Allah in the afterlife without resemblance, without direction or distance. Seeing Allah would not be like seeing the creation, because if you saw a creation, you saw it in front of you or behind you, and then you turned and looked at it, or on your right or on your left. It's possible you could see it behind you without turning. That's not impossible. The Prophet ﷺ used to see his companions behind him when he would stand as Imam without turning around to look at them. That's a miracle of his, alayhi salatu wassalam. Or above you, you would see it, or below you, or you saw it from all directions, like being inside a room. For it would then be engulfing you, that room, so you see it around you from all directions. All of that and whatever is like it is not valid for Allah and does not befit Him. This was documented by Imam Abu Mansur al-Maturidi and others. The people of truth declare, a thing's very existence implies that it can be seen. Allah exists, so it is possible that He be seen. Remember here, using the same word is not similar. It's not a similarity. It's not a comparison. Some of the people with weak minds don't understand this. This is where you're going to lose a Wahhabi. He's going to say, oh, you can see Allah, you can see us. Doesn't mean we're similar. That's true, but he doesn't even know what he's saying. And he's likewise going to say, well, Allah sees and we see, so it doesn't mean we're similar. That's true, but he doesn't know what he's saying, because what he wants to say also is, well, we have eyes and Allah has eyes, and we have hands and Allah has hands, and we smile and Allah smiles, and we have foot and Allah has foot. It doesn't mean he's like us. We tell him, la, you went too far here. So there's no comparing Allah to the creations here. A thing's very existence implies that it can be seen. Allah exists, so it is possible that He be seen. When we say here, a thing's very existence implies that it can be seen. Allah exists, so it is possible that He be seen. And we're saying this doesn't mean He's similar to us. So somebody might say, how is not similar? You're saying the same thing. You said he exists and we exist. You said he could be seen, we can be seen. You said a thing's existence implies that it can be seen. So that works for me according to you, and works for Allah according to you. How's not similar? So the answer is because the meaning is different. So he's going to say, for example, how's the meaning different? So the answer is because when you talk about the existence of God, you're talking about uncreated existence. It's not just because you're using the same word that it means you're establishing comparison. When you talk about the existence of God, you're talking about the uncreated existence. So that's different from the existence of creation in the first place, just the same word. So this uncreated existence, it is existence, but it's unsimilar, it's dissimilar. So you're gonna see, you could see this uncreated existing one, but then you're gonna see him not like you see created things. So it's not similar. Now supposing he still says, doesn't make sense to me, I don't understand the difference. What are you saying to me? Then tell me, answer this question for me, please, someone. How do you clarify that two things are similar? How do you clarify that two things are similar? 5, 4. By substitution, yes. So establish for this person, make clear for this person. It's not similar because you can't interchange them. Two things will be similar when one of them can stand for the other. So it's the same words, that's true, but it's not the same meaning. It's not similar. Had the mind been left to itself, that means without any religious documentation and no revelation, the mind would judge. The mind would not judge seeing Allah as impossible. As the BD said, Al-Bari'u mawjudun fasahha an yura. The Creator exists, so it is valid that he be seen. The existence of what cannot possibly be seen. What cannot possibly be seen? The existence of something that, or a matter that cannot possibly be seen, is unconfirmed. So it is possible intellectually to see flavors, smells, and sounds, just as we can see bodies. Our not seeing those matters is not because it is impossible, but because Allah did not make it normal. That means he didn't make it natural. Had he willed to remove from us what blocks us from seeing them, we would see them. And had he removed from us what prevents us from seeing him, we would see him as he is. Therefore, the Mu'tazila's denying the possibility of seeing Allah leads to denying his existence. Here's a footnote. The philosophers and the Najjariyah also agree with the Mu'tazila in denying the ru'yah. You probably knew the philosophers. Add Najjariyah there to your knowledge. In fact, this is among the issues that all factions of the Mu'tazila have agreed upon. They said that Allah is not seen, yani not seeable, and that he does not even see himself. Let me fix this footnote real quick. This second sentence should go first. So let me read up top. The sentence here is, therefore the Mu'tazila's denying the possibility of seeing Allah leads to denying his existence. Footnote. In fact, this is among the issues that all factions of the Mu'tazila have agreed upon. They said that Allah is not seen, and that he does not see himself. The philosophers in the Najariya also agree with the Mu'tazila in denying the ru'ya. That's much better now. If they were not being obstinate, those Mu'tazila, when they deny that God is seeable, if they were not being obstinate, then they did not commit blasphemy. So if it's not obstinance and insolence, then what is it? It's confusion. Then they did not commit blasphemy according to most. Because this implication is not obvious, which is that God doesn't exist. That's the implication. It's not obvious, yani, to him. It's obvious to you because you studied, and now it's clear for you, and you have practiced the kalam, and you have trained, so it's clear for you. You're conditioned now. But it is a major sin and a misguided belief. Yani he's going to be dal, misguided. He's going to be mubtadi', an innovator or a heretic. And Nasafi, the interpreter, said, whatever could not possibly be seen, that is because what validates seeing it is missing, which is existence. Otherwise, so that's what some Mu'tazila, they're not denying out of obstinacy that they didn't understand. They're confused here. They thought what stops something from being seen is being a body. So that's where their mistake is. And what we're saying is what makes something not possibly be seen is that it doesn't exist actually. So that's not clear for them. Whatever could not possibly be seen, that is because what validates seeing it is missing, which is existence. Otherwise, just as he is known to be existent without a direction and without a how, yani, existent differently from every other known thing, he is also seeable. But it is not valid that he would be seen except without a direction and without a how. Differently from every other seen thing, because he's different. So seeing him has to be different. Then there's no contradiction. This is because seeing is verifying a thing as it is, but by vision. Very important. This is because seeing is verifying a thing as it is, but by vision. So if the seen thing were in a direction, it would be seen in a direction because you're just seeing it as it is. You're not seeing it because it's in a direction. You're just seeing it as it is. And if it were not in a direction, it would be seen, but not in a direction, just like knowing. If the known thing were in a direction, then you would know about it being in a direction. If the known thing is not in a direction, you're still going to know about it, but not in a direction. The direction is not a condition for being known. It's not a condition for being seen. It's not a condition for being heard. His speech is heard on Resurrection Day without it coming from any direction. He will be seen without the seer glancing into any direction in particular. Wa subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Debating the deniers of the sighting. Or some people might say the vision. The strongest argument they had was to say that there are conditions for seeing. The power of sight, the necessity of light between the eye of the seer and the seen connecting them, the light connecting the seer to the seen, a direction between them, that they be across from each other. That means that they be counter-positioned to each other, and a distance between them that is neither too far nor too close. So that's how precisely they could describe seeing a creation, and then they applied it to Allah. They exerted their minds to say, how do we see creations? But they didn't realize they're just only talking about creations. They thought this is just seeing. They correctly said that Allah is not a body and that Allah is existing without a place. So these conditions are not applicable to him. Hence, they mistakenly said that he could not be seen. We said this is not a mental proof. It's not a true rational argument. It is actually a comparison of the creator to the creation. There's some people going to fall for that argument. So, no one will be guided except whom Allah wills. Allah made some things very clear, and He made some things not as clear. He made some things tricky, and He made some things trickier, more liable to confusion. We say to them, this is not a real rational argument. It's actually a comparison of the creator to the creation, like the mushabbi, the anthropomorphist. But that's why they denied the sighting, while the anthropomorphists confirmed it. What they did right there was they compared the creator to the creation and then denied that God could be seen, because they're not true anthropomorphists. The anthropomorphists, they compared the creator to the creations, and they confirmed that the creator would be seen, and they meant like you see anything else. These conditions are not truly conditions. They are only what is normal and natural. The true synopsis of what they have said is that they never saw anything except in this way, and they never saw anything but a creation. However, they missed one point in their deduction. To not have experienced something does not make it impossible. As it is said, عدم الوجدان لا يقتضي عدم الوجود. The lack of finding something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But the lack of experiencing something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just like not being able to imagine something does not make it impossible. The truth is that our seeing anything is something that Allah creates in us. And usually it would have reasons. Usually, naturally, it would have reasons. Like light in a pupil. And for example, facing what you're looking at. And turning your pupils towards it. Like might be in front of you, but you don't see it until you just turn slightly and then you see it. All that's normal. So it has usual reasons, like light in a pupil. However, neither the light nor the eye creates sight. Allah creates the sight. Even if all of those elements are existing, this doesn't create the sight. Just like you say to an atheist, don't you claim to know all the elements of blood? They do. Tell them, why you can't make blood then? If you put them all together, or if you bring all those ingredients and put them together, will you have blood? You won't. You won't be able to. Same thing. You have the eye, you have the light, you have whatever else, you have distance. None of those things creates sight, though. Even if one's eyes, brain, heart, and body were in good condition, and light was existing. I think it's supposed to be were right there. This does not necessitate the thing being seen. And even if light were existing. Why is it that we do not see all of the details of an approaching person within a distance that makes him visible? Although there is light connecting the seeing eye to the seeing person. If what they said were the intellectual necessity, you would see all the details. God sees everything without any distance. This makes it even clearer that it is not impossible to see Allah. It is not a condition for something to be seen that it be a body. We see the qualities of bodies, which, by agreement between the Sunnis and the Mu'tazila, are not bodies. The qualities, the properties of bodies are not bodies by agreement. We could take out the word between the Sunnis and the Mu'tazila. I'm going to keep it, but you could take it out. If you were to say, Yani, if you know the subject and you know who's involved in the argument, then you could just say, we see the qualities of bodies which are not bodies by agreement. If being a body is the necessary reason for being seen, then what is not a body would not be seen. So we should not see any motion or stillness, etc., because those are not bodies by our agreement. Therefore, being a body is not the necessary reason for something to be seen. And look how a person, he would believe that being a body is the reason something is seen, while he also believes that the properties of bodies are not bodies. So see how he didn't connect the dots? That's how the mind falls short sometimes. Therefore, being a body is not the necessary reason for something to be seen. Also, being the attribute of a body is not the necessary reason to be visible, because we see the bodies, and they are not attributes. Hence, what made them visible is the fact that they exist. Footnote. At-Tilimsani said, certainly Allah the Exalted exists, and everything existent is possibly seen. As a reference for that, we see the bodies and the characteristics. If a body were seen because of being a body, it would be necessary that we not see color. And had blackness been seen because it is a color, it would be necessary that we not see bodies, because it's not a color. If they were seen because of their existence, then it would be necessary that every existent thing would be seen. The theologian Sheikh At-Tilimsani, whom we just quoted, he said in the explanation of Luma al-Adillah, if they say those things were seen because of their createdness, and the exalted Lord is uncreated, meaning they say here, no, you're right. We didn't see the body because it's a body, or else we wouldn't have seen the properties. And we didn't see the properties because they're properties, or else we wouldn't have seen the bodies. You're right. But where you're wrong is that you think we saw them because they exist, and really why we saw them is because they're created. So we see those things because of their createdness, and the exalted Lord is uncreated, so he can't be seen. Someone could fall for that one too. We say, you are contradicting your own school, because flavors, smells, knowledge, and the like cannot be seen according to you, although they are created. In your madhab, those qualities can't be seen anyway, but they are created. So why can't we see them if what makes something seeable is confirmed for them, which is createdness according to you? So if createdness is the necessary reason for something to be seen, those qualities should be visible according to you. So you're still contradicting yourself. And furthermore, createdness merely means existence preceded by non-existence. That previous non-existence of the created thing did not make it presently seen. So the true validator of being visible is limited to existence. Therefore, everything existent can be possibly seen. What does this mean? This means, furthermore, not only we should be able to see things that you claim can't be seen, although the reason for something to be seen is confirmed for them according to you, which is createdness. But secondly, createdness, it only means existing after non-existence. So now you have two things here, non-existence and existence. Two issues here, non-existence and existence. So, could you see something non-existent? The answer is no. So what's left then? Existence. Being created is to exist after non-existence, and the non-existence didn't make it seeable. So it's the existence that made it seeable. It's not the createdness. So the true validator of being visible is limited to existence. Therefore, everything existent can possibly be seen. If what is seen is eternal without a place, it will be seen, unlike the created things in places are seen. How he said, بِغَيْرِ إِحَاطَةٍ وَلَا كَيْفِيَّةٍ. They see him without circumscription or manner of being. Circumscription means encompassment. That means they see him without him having edges. Like now, I can see all the edges of my phone. My vision encompasses my phone right now. And my vision encompasses my laptop or my cup. They see Allah Ta'ala without any encompassment because he doesn't have edges. He's seen but without edges and without any place in the first place. Because somebody might say, okay, but is he in a place and he goes on forever in all directions? The answer is no. So this statement of At-Tahawi, they see him without circumscription, which means encompassment, or manner of being. That is in the saying of Allah, La tudrikuhu al-absar. The visions do not encompass him. That's by interpreting the idrak here as ihata, encompassment. Mufassir al-Nasafi said, they're holding fast to this verse to deny that Allah can be seen is nothing commendable. They say Allah can't be seen. Here's the ayah, La tudrikuhu al-absar. And Nasafi says, using this ayah to prove that is not commendable. Because what is negated in the verse is idrak, encompassment, not ru'ya, sighting or seeing. According to this, La tudrikuhu al-absar does not mean the visions do not see him. It means they do not encompass him. In terms of seeing, idrak is realizing the sides and boundaries of the seen thing. And there is no idrak for whatever does not have sides and limits. That's for seeing. And idrak for knowing is something else. Idrak for hearing is something else. We don't encompass Allah in any way. Therefore, the impossibility, and Nasafi says, the impossibility lies in vision encompassing him, not seeing him. This is similar to knowledge. Not encompassing something by knowledge does not negate knowledge of the thing altogether. Rather, it negates achieving a boundary or end for what is known. Furthermore, the goal of the verse, which is to praise Allah, dictates that he would be seeable. This is because negating the encompassment of what could never be seen, negating the encompassment of what could never be seen, does not contain any praise. Because everything that cannot be seen cannot be encompassed. See that proof there? May Allah make us like those Sunni scholars. Ameen. Let me repeat that. He said, the goal of the verse, furthermore, is to praise Allah. La tudrikuhu al-absar. He is glorified. The visions do not encompass him. He's saying, for this praise to be verified, then he would have to be seeable. Because negating the encompassment of what could never be seen is not praiseworthy, because everything that can't be seen can't be encompassed. So there's nothing special here. Rather, the praise is in negating the encompassment while verifying the possibility of sighting. This is because negating the encompassment while verifying the sighting proves the invalidity of deficiency, the invalidity of the deficiency of limits and ends for the self of Allah. Therefore, the verse is evidence for us against them. Exclamation point. This is by explaining idrak as encompassment, like we repeated now. But there's another tafsir. The Sheikh said in his explanation of an-nasafiyah that if it means seeing, if the idrak in the ayah does mean seeing and not encompassment, then it is evidence that not all visions will see him. And it's not evidence that it's not evidence that he can't be seen at all. Rather, only some shall see him. And that some that shall see him is the believers, not the disbelievers, because of the evidence that shall come in its place. As we read, as we unravel the information here. Because the way I tried to lay this out was to mention everything without repeating the proofs. So that made it come out in the order that it came out. So because I don't want to repeat the proof, that's why it's mentioned here, because of the evidence that shall come. Or else I'd mention it here and then repeat it again later. Prophet Musa was fully aware of this possibility. That is why he requested it. قَالَ رَبِّ أَرِنِي أَنظُرْ إِلَيْكَ. He said, "Oh my Lord, show me yourself so that I may see you." Had this been impossible, one of the best messengers of Allah would neither have desired nor asked for it. As much as you would not desire, as long as you would be hopeless of anything impossible, is the meaning here. As well as you would yourself be hopeless of something impossible. So that hopelessness is the lack of desire we're talking about here. So, an example, you need to be somewhere in 5 minutes and you're an hour away. So, what's your hope of getting there in 5 minutes? Khalas. According to the Mu'tazila, he was either ignorant about what befits Allah and what does not, so he requested it. Or he knew, but being ridiculous, he requested it anyway. Both are impossible. Prophets are the most knowledgeable about what befits Allah and what does not, and they are not ridiculous. How could they deny the possibility of seeing Allah when the Quran documents Musa's requesting it? So the Mu'tazila responded that Musa's question was for the sake of his people when they said, لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ حَتَّى نَرَى اللَّهَ جَهْرَةً. We will not believe in you, Moses. We will not believe in you, Moses, until we see Allah clearly. The Mu'tazila, they say, he asked so that he would be denied, and then told that it is impossible. And then he would tell them what his Lord revealed to him, and then they would know its impossibility as he knew it. It baffles me that somebody would think that's a good answer. Ahlul Sunnah said this explanation opposes the apparent meanings of the verses. And there is no need to abandon what appears in the Quran in this issue, because had his people been believers, his word that seeing Allah is impossible would have been enough, because that's how you believe in the messenger of Allah. And had they been blasphemers, they would not have believed them about the impossibility. Whichever the case, the question would be pointless. Asking his Lord so that his Lord would deny him, and then he would tell them that his Lord denies him. And he already knew it. The entire nation agreed that the verses and hadiths pertaining to this issue are interpreted by the apparent meanings, but the misguided sayings appeared and led people astray. Al-Tahawi said about this issue, لا ندخل في ذلك متأولين بآرائنا ولا متوهمين بأهوائنا. We do not engage in that, giving alternative interpretations by our opinions, nor delusional by our desires. And we're not making ta'wil for the ayahs and hadiths in this topic. And nor are we imagining Allah. The alternative interpretation would be for the sake of denying it. The Mu'tazila said, but Allah denied Musa's request when he said, قَالَ لَن تَرَانِي, you shall not see me. We responded, Allah did not say, I am not seen. Hence, saying, you shall not see me is proof that it is valid that Allah be seen. That denial there is actually a proof that Allah is seeable. Or else he would have said to Musa, I am not seen, and would not have limited the negation to Musa. All that is negated here is that Musa will see Allah in this life with his mortal eyes. He shall see Allah in the afterlife like the other believers, as per the evidence for that. What if you said to someone, can I have some money? And he said, I won't give you any money. That's his statement to you. He said, can I have some money? So he said to you, I won't give you any money. That doesn't prove that he doesn't have money. In fact, it insinuates that he has money, but he might not. It's possible he doesn't, but it does insinuate or hint. So Musa, he will see Allah like all the other believers will see Allah. And Nasafi said, وَقَدْ وَرَدَ الدَّلِيلُ السَّمْعِيُّ بِإِيجَابِ رُؤْيَةِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي دَارِ الْآخِرَةِ. The transmitted evidence came with the inevitability of the believers seeing Allah the Exalted in the afterlife. How would it be impossible to see Him when He said, وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرْ إِلَى الْجَبَلِ فَإِنِ اسْتَقَرَّ مَكَانَهُ فَسَوْفَ تَرَانِي فَلَمَّا تَجَلَّى رَبُّهُ لِلْجَبَلِ جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا وَخَرَّ مُوسَى صَعِقًا. But look at the mountain, O Moses. If it remains in its place, then you will see me. Then, when his Lord was visible to the mountain, it crumbled, and Moses fell unconscious. There are 2 points here. Allah made Musa seeing him conditional upon the mountain's stability, which is a possible matter in itself. For the mountain to stay stable, that's possible. And whatever is made conditional upon a possibility is itself a possibility. So, for example, if a man said to his wife, if I can stand up and sit down at the same time, you are divorced. This would mean that divorcing her is impossible. Because you can't make a condition, if something were made conditional upon an impossibility, then that thing itself is impossible. So if something were made conditional upon a possibility, then that thing itself is possible. The condition was, if the mountain stays intact, then you will see me. For the mountain to stay intact is possible. For the mountain to stay intact is possible. So then seeing Allah is possible. Because the impossible cannot depend upon a possibility. The Mu'tazila did not concede to the condition being possible here, though. Because according to them, it means for the mountain to be still while it's moving, which is impossible. They say, la, this means if the mountain stays still while it's moving, then you will see me. So what do you say to them? Ahlul Sunnah said, this is also against the apparent meaning of the verse. Yani, you're making a ta'wil. You're interpreting it in a way to make it impossible. You're bringing some impossibility into it by your interpretation so that you can make what's made conditional impossible. The verses in this are clear, but the Mu'tazila inferred other meanings for them. Al-Tahawi said, فَإِنَّهُ مَا سَلِمَ فِي دِينِهِ إِلَّا مَنْ سَلَّمَ لِلَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ وَلِرَسُولِهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم ورد علم ما اشتبه عليه إلى عالمه. No one's religion is safe except if one submits himself to Allah the Exalted and to His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and ascribes the knowledge of that which is ambiguous to he who knows it. Yani, if something's not clear for you, leave it to who knows it. Submit to whatever came in the religion, and anything that's not clear, leave it to who knows it, and you'll be safe. They didn't do that here. And the second thing is that Allah created realization and the ability of sight in the mountain. That slipped the Mu'tazila too. Somehow. Allah enabled the mountain to see. Thus Allah can be seen. And Nasafi, the theologian, said, وَرُؤْيَةُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى جَائِزَةٌ فِي الْعَقْلِ وَاجِبَةٌ بِالنَّقْلِ. Seeing Allah is possible in the intellect and necessary by the text. Such was pronounced by the book of our Lord. That's what Tahawi said. Like the book of our Lord pronounced. That's what Tahawi said. وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَى رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. Faces on that day shining, seeing their Lord. In Al-I'tiqad, Al-Bayhaqi clarified, وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ. Faces on that day, that's Judgment Day, that are نَاظِرَةٌ, brilliant, illuminated. إِلَى رَبِّهَا, at their Lord, they are نَاظِرَةٌ, lookers. Al-Bayhaqi said that nazar, looking or seeing, has several connotations. That's what a Mu'tazili is going to say to you too. He's going to say, wait, no, this doesn't prove Allah can be seen, because nazar can be taken in different ways. And they're going to say, therefore, it's not seeing, it means something else. But Al-Bayhaqi is going to say, no, it is seeing, and here's why. Here, it means its original literal meaning of looking or seeing, like how it is used in Surah Muhammad, Ayah 20. The nazar of the hypocrite who looks at the Prophet. Yanzuru ilayk. He looks at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the look of one who lost consciousness to death because of being commanded to fight. Yani, in Surah Muhammad, we're told about the hypocrite. When the command to fight comes, he would look at the Prophet like someone who's going to faint to death. So it means that meaning of looking, of nazar, looking. This is especially true because the nazar in the verse about seeing Allah is attributed to the faces, as you can see here. Wujuhun yawma idhin, faces on that day. Nadira, that are brilliant, shining. Ila rabbiha, at their Lord. Here, ha, this pronoun goes back to the faces. It doesn't say ila rabbihim, their Lord, meaning the people. No, it means the faces. So who's the doer here? Who's the subject here? The faces in particular. So this is especially true because the nazar in the verse is attributed to the faces. So it must be the looking of the eyes. Like how in Surah Al-Baqarah 144, Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he saw the prophets turning his face toward the sky. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Your face. تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ. We saw you turning your face to the sky, O Muhammad. That was his looking into that direction with his eyes. That's what the ayah refers to. So that's how you're going to shut that Mu'tazili down. These still exist. Someone argued this with me not too long ago. Try to say, nah, nazar can mean this and this and this, and bring you all these different ayat where nazar means something other than looking. How are you going to shut him down here? By bringing to his attention that, but the nazar here goes back to the faces. So that means they're seeing. So you wouldn't say their faces are waiting. You wouldn't say their faces are thinking, for example. It does not mean considering or pondering like the looking into how the camel is created in Surah Al-Ghashiyah 17, or looking into the kingdom of heavens and earth to reflect. Because the afterlife is not a time for reflection. It is a time for compelling realization, because you're going to see the angels, you're going to see paradise, you're going to see hell with your own eyes. So it's not time for reflection then. And add what we already said. It doesn't make a lot of sense to say the faces are thinking, the faces are pondering. It does not mean waiting like the blasphemers looking for a single blast that shall wipe them out in Surah Yasin, ayah 49. ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة. As if to say, they're not looking for anything but a single blast. It means waiting for. Because waiting is irritating, and there is nothing irritating in paradise. So that's not the meaning of waiting. And also, you don't say their faces are waiting. Rather, the verse is a glad tiding, and the people of paradise achieve their desires by them merely, by those desires merely crossing the mind. Whatever you want in paradise, you get it, and they don't wait. And it does not mean acceptance and mercy, like those who shall not be looked at in the afterlife for their sins. وَلَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَيْهِمْ. He doesn't look at them or look upon them. That's how you would literally translate it. That means he doesn't have mercy on them and he doesn't accept them. That's not the meaning here either, because it is not possible for the slaves to be kind to their Lord, looking at him, looking upon him, having mercy on him and accepting him. That's not possible. وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَبِحَمْدِهِ.